It's the middle of summer. The sun's beating down on rows of trucks, and every single one has the same problem. And it's not that they're trucks, they're not selling. Not today, not this week, not even this month. Some have been sitting so long, their tires are losing air. Some are collecting more dust than miles. And every single day, they're costing the dealership money, sometimes hundreds of dollars, just to sit still. Just like me with my parents. But here's the weird part. These aren't beat-up trade-ins or old inventory. We're talking about brand new trucks. Some with luxury badges, some with big V8s, even some with 1,000 horsepower and tech features straight out of a sci-fi movie. So, what's going on? Why are 18 different pickup trucks across America turning into financial black holes for dealerships? Why are even truck-loving Americans refusing to buy them, even when prices are slashed? And here's the question you really want answered. Which of these failures is actually the smartest truck to throw your money at before everyone else pulls out their wallets? By the end of this video, you'll know the truth about which trucks are quietly rotting on dealer lots, why they're stuck there, and how you could use that to walk away with one of the best deals in the country. But first, let's pull back the curtain on what changed in 2025. Because the reason these trucks are failing is bigger, messier, and way more surprising than you think.
Just a few years ago, if a dealership had a full lot of trucks, it was a sign of success. Now, it's a ticking time bomb. The auto market in 2025 flipped almost overnight. After years of supply shortages, parts delays, and empty lots, inventory came back. Fast. But here's the catch. Trucks didn't just return to, quote, normal levels. Many models blew right past it. The average new vehicle now sits on a lot for about 70 days before selling. That's considered healthy. But a lot of these trucks, they're sitting for 150 days, 200 days. Some are pushing 300 days. That's not just slow. That's slower than some of you take to hit that subscribe button. And here's where it gets expensive. Dealers don't actually own all the vehicles on their lot outright. They use something called floor plan financing. Sounds complicated, but it's simple. It's like a mortgage for cars. The dealer borrows money from a bank to hold the vehicle until it sells and pays interest on that loan the entire time. For a $50,000 truck, that interest can run about $13 a day. That's $400 a month. Multiply that by 200 trucks, and you've got $80,000 in pure loss every single month before selling a single vehicle. But wait, it gets worse. It's not just that trucks are sitting, they are also more expensive than ever. Average transaction prices for new pickups have climbed close to $60,000, with luxury trims blasting past $80,000, and some trash models costing more than your Pokemon collection. And with interest rates still high, even well-off buyers are thinking twice before signing a 72-month loan on something that costs as much as a house in some parts of the country. This perfect storm, higher prices, higher borrowing costs, and too much inventory, is killing sales for certain models. And it's not hitting all trucks equally. Some are flying off the lot. Others have become radioactive. So the big question is, which trucks are turning into dealership poison? And why them specifically? Let's break down the 18 problem trucks, and you'll see the pattern almost immediately. Not every truck is in trouble. The Ford F-150 is still moving like clockwork. The Toyota Tacoma, practically a rock star in its segment. But then there's the other side of the lot, the trucks that dealers quietly wish would just disappear. And when you line them up, you start to see the same patterns over and over again. First, the discontinued and the damaged brand trucks. The Nissan Titan is the poster child here. 20 years of trying to crack the American full-size market, and it's over. Production is ending. The Frontier, Nissan's midsize entry, is better than people think, but it's dragging the baggage of Titan's failure, and buyers walk past it for a Tacoma or Colorado. Next, the electric overhang. The GMC Hummer EV, a rolling tech flex with 1,000 horsepower and a price tag over $100,000, but also tipping the scales at over 9,000 pounds. That's heavier than many commercial dump trucks, and it chews through tires like candy. Then there's Tesla's Cybertruck, years of hype, now 8 recalls deep before even hitting full production stride. Chevy Silverado EV and GMC Sierra EV have their own uphill climb. High prices, low familiarity, and an audience still on the fence about full-size electric pickups. Then we've got the priced like a bigger truck problem. The GMC Canyon and Chevy Colorado are supposed to be mid-size workhorses, but fully loaded, they can hit $55,000 to $60,000, brushing up against full-size Silverado and Sierra money. Ford's Ranger has the same issue. At just a few thousand less than an F-150, a lot of shoppers simply stretch to the bigger truck.
Next, the lifestyle overstockers.
Jeep Gladiator started hot. Off-road chops, removable doors, Wrangler DNA. But now, days supply is way above the healthy range, and dealers have more than they can move. It's fun on the trail, rough on the highway, and that limits its audience. And then, the compact positioning miss. Hyundai Santa Cruz looked clever on paper, a small pickup for city buyers, but it's stuck between worlds. Too truck for crossover buyers, not truck enough for truck buyers. Meanwhile, Ford Maverick undercuts it on price and fuel economy, pulling the value shoppers away. Finally, the image fighters. The Honda Ridgeline is arguably one of the most comfortable, practical trucks on the road. But for the badge-loyal truck crowd, it's not a real truck, because it's built more like an SUV underneath. That perception alone is enough to slow sales in certain regions, no matter what the specs say. Put all of that together, and you've got 18 models that are either overpriced for their category, out of step with what their audience actually wants, or just stuck with a reputation they can't shake. And here's where it gets wild. Some of these are actually great trucks. They're just in the wrong place at the wrong time. Which is exactly why they can become massive bargains if you know how to play the game. But before we get into the deals, let's zoom in on a few case studies. Because when you look closer at how these trucks ended up here, you start to see exactly where the manufacturers miscalculated and why the discounts are only getting bigger. Let's start with the Nissan Titan, the truck that chased the American dream for 2 decades and lost. On paper, it had everything. A 5.6-liter V8, 400 horsepower, over 9,000 pounds of towing, one of the best warranties in the segment, 5 years, 100,000 miles. But here's the truth. Ford, Chevy, and Ram had already locked the full-size market in a death grip. Titans never crack their loyalty walls. Now, production's over. Dealers are sitting on hundreds of unsold units, some over 270 days old. And here's the twist. The longer they sit, the more desperate the deals get. We're talking 20% off brand new, fully loaded models. It's the end of the line, which, for some buyers, is exactly the point. Then there's the GMC Hummer EV. When it launched, it was supposed to be the ultimate flex. 1,000 horsepower, crab-walk steering, screens everywhere. But reality set in fast. This thing weighs more than 9,000 pounds. That's heavier than some Class 3 commercial trucks. Heavy enough to crack certain residential garage floors. It burns through tires like a sports car, and its real-world range drops hard when towing. It's the kind of truck you take pictures of, not put to work. Dealers call it the $110,000 statue. It draws crowds, but nobody's signing the papers. And then, the Tesla Cybertruck. Years of hype, a waiting list hundreds of thousands long. But the rollout has been chaos. 8 recalls before volume production even ramped. Parts delays. Owners posting about trim pieces falling off, wipers failing, pedals sticking. It's the most polarizing pickup on the road. For some, that's a badge of honor. For others, it's a 6-figure gamble. Now, the GMC Canyon and Chevy Colorado, both were fully redesigned. Both got more power, better tech, sharper styling. So what's the problem? Price. High trims push past $55,000. The off-road ZR2 Bison can top $60,000. At that point, many buyers think, why not just get a full-size Silverado? A small but loud hiccup didn't help. A service bulletin about roof panels denting from automatic car washes. It's the kind of small story that spreads fast on forums and plants doubt. The Ford Ranger walks into the same trap. Starting around $34,000, but an F-150 starts just a couple grand higher. Same badge, more space, more towing. For a truck shopper, it's a no-brainer. It's like walking into a restaurant, seeing the small fries cost almost as much as the large, and going big without thinking twice. Then, the Jeep Gladiator. At launch, it was hot. Long wait lists, dealer markups, everyone wanted one. Now, it's a different story. Highways expose its weak spots. a bouncy ride, vague steering, lots of wind noise. It's perfect for a weekend in the woods, but tough as a daily driver. Dealers stocked up when it was hot, and now those units just sit. And finally, the Hyundai Santa Cruz. Clever idea, a compact pickup with crossover comfort, but it got squeezed. Maverick took the budget crowd, mid-size trucks took the capability crowd, and Santa Cruz landed in the middle. Too expensive for one group, too soft for the other. Different trucks, different problems, but the same result. They're stuck. They're bleeding value for dealers every single day. And that's exactly why the next part matters. Because once you understand the pattern, you can predict which trucks are going to become the best deals before everyone else catches on.
If you boil it all down, these trucks are stuck for 5 main reasons. 5 forces you can spot just by looking at the window sticker or taking a quick test drive. First, price positioning. Some mid-size trucks cost as much as or more than full-size trucks. That's like pricing a small coffee the same as a large and wondering why no one orders the small. Canyon, Colorado, Ranger, all falling into this trap. Buyers notice, and they don't forgive it. Second, cost to own. This is where the Hummer EV is king of the wrong kind of headlines. 9,000-pound curb weight means faster tire wear, higher maintenance, and energy use that erases the green image. Heavy trucks also wear down brakes and suspension faster. Owning them feels like feeding a pet elephant. Cool at first, but expensive forever. Third, quality and recall fatigue. Truck buyers want reliability. It's part of the culture. But recalls on critical systems, brakes, steering, electronics, destroy that trust. Ford's recall count in 2025 is already pushing record levels, and it's not just them. Even Toyota and GMC have had to issue big safety campaigns this year. When buyers start saying, "I'll wait until they fix the bugs," that's a lost sale. Fourth, supply misreads. Some trucks are built for a lifestyle audience that isn't as big as manufacturers think. Jeep Gladiator, Hyundai Santa Cruz, great for the right person, but dealers ordered way more than that niche can absorb. So they sit and sit. And fifth, brand perception lag. This is the hardest one to fix. Nissan builds a solid frontier, but the Titan's flop casts a shadow. Honda builds one of the most comfortable, most practical pickups on the road, the Ridgeline, but hardcore truck buyers dismiss it as not real before they even sit inside. In the truck world, image is half the battle. Put all 5 together and you've got a recipe for a truck graveyard. But here's where it gets crazier. These exact problems are what create the opportunities. Because when a truck is good on paper but bad in perception, the market will hand you a discount so big it wipes out the problem entirely. And in the next part, we're going to show exactly how to spot those deals before the average buyer even realizes they exist. So here's the twist. Every one of these problem trucks is a nightmare for the dealership, but for the right buyer, they're a goldmine. Because here's the thing about slow sellers. The longer they sit, the more they cost the dealer. We're talking hundreds of dollars in interest every month. On a 200-day-old truck, that's thousands of dollars gone before you even walk through the door. At that point, the dealer isn't aiming to make money. They're aiming to stop the bleeding. This is where you get insane deals. A Nissan Titan with a $58,000 sticker going home for $46,000. A loaded Canyon with $8,000 in incentives, plus low-interest financing. A Ridgeline that's already underpriced compared to its spec sheet. Now, with another few grand shaved off because it's been taking up space for half a year. But wait, it gets crazier. You can actually spot these deals before you set foot on the lot. Look for the VIN age, how long that exact truck has been in inventory. Dealers track it. Some online listings even show days on lot. Over 150 days? That's your sweet spot. Over 200, you're in power position. Stack that with timing. End of the month, end of the quarter, end of the model year. Those 3 moments are when managers will take offers they'd normally laugh at because they need the sale on the books. And here's one more play. Target the trims nobody's fighting for. Everyone wants the basework truck or the flashy off-road model. That leaves mid-level trims, still loaded with features, collecting dust. Pick one of those and you'll often get more truck for less money than a stripped-down base model. Even the so-called losers can be winners. The Jeep Gladiator? If you actually go off-road every weekend, it's perfect. You just bought it for thousands under MSRP because everyone else judged it on highway comfort. The Honda Ridgeline. If your idea of truck work is hauling bikes, mulch, or camping gear, you just got SUV comfort and truck utility in one package for the price of a compact crossover. And if you're thinking about future value, some of these could even turn into collectibles. The Titan is ending production. The Lordstown Endurance?
only 31 exist. The first-year Cybertruck, love it or hate it, is automotive history in real time. Rare now, and maybe even rarer in 20 years. Bottom line, the market sees these trucks as problems. You see them as leverage. And when you combine that leverage with the right timing, you can drive away in something that should have been out of reach for a price you won't believe. But what if you don't just want a deal? You want the right deal. That's where knowing which of these so-called failures actually deliver real-world value makes all the difference. And that's exactly where we're going next.
We started with a question. Why are so many trucks and the land of truck worship sitting unsold for months?
And the answer turned out to be a mix of bad pricing, high costs, recall fatigue, supply misreads, and stubborn brand perceptions. But here's the part that flips the whole story. Some of these trucks aren't bad at all. In fact, in the right hands, they're smart buys. That Nissan Titan? Sure, it's a discontinued nameplate, but that means you can get a brand new, full-size V8 truck with a bulletproof warranty for the price of a midsize. If you're planning to keep it for years, who cares if the badge is gone from showrooms? The Honda Ridgeline, if your work truck duties are hauling home projects, camping gear, or sports equipment, it's more comfortable, more efficient, and more practical than half the pickups on the road. The GMC Canyon and Chevy Colorado, overpriced for some trims, yes. But when incentives pile up and inventory lingers, you can score a fully equipped mid-size truck for less than a stripped-down full-size. Even the Jeep Gladiator has its moment. If you actually use its off-road capability, the removable doors, the open-air feel, it's unmatched. And the very thing that kills its daily driver appeal is what keeps it fun for weekend adventures.
The point is, the truck graveyard isn't just a cautionary tale. It's a treasure map. Each of these so-called failures has a sweet spot where its weaknesses don't matter, or even turn into strengths. And right now, before production cuts and market corrections kick in, that sweet spot is wide open. So the next time you see a row of trucks collecting dust on a lot, don't just walk past. Look closer. Check the VIN age. Ask yourself if the thing keeping everyone else away is something you actually care about. Because in 12 months, those same trucks could be gone, sold off, discontinued, or priced back up once supply matches demand. And here's the real kicker. While everyone else is fighting over the hottest models at full sticker price, the smartest buyers are quietly driving away in trucks they got for 15, 20, even 25% off. Trucks that will do everything they need for thousands less. The truck apocalypse is real, but if you know how to read it, it's also the best buyer's market we've seen in years.